the news and information you need from the people making a difference. This is Comcast Newsmakers.
We're going to talk about real heroes, and to forget them would be a terrible mistake for America. Hello everyone, I'm Joe Basikia, and this is Comcast Newsmakers. Honored to have with us Noemi Figueroa Soulet of Borinqueneers. What is that? That's a documentary that she worked 9 years tirelessly. She's a filmmaker, director, producer, writer, and it's out there and it's touching lives. Good to see you.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, it's very important to have you here. When you started working on this 9 years ago, you know, we're talking about decades of work here, but we see what it's doing now. How are you so proud?
Oh my God. It's not only me, everybody who has helped me along the way. We feel tremendous pride because this regiment had a very special meaning to Puerto Rico. I mean, it was the pride of Puerto Rico.
And let's be clear too, when we talk about the 65th Regiment and we talk about Puerto Rico and the pride of it is that this is for America. These were American patriots. American
soldiers.
Tell us about it.
Although Puerto Rico was a colony, was a colony back then, now it's a commonwealth, they are American citizens, although they cannot vote for the President of the United States, and they have no representation in Congress, but they are subjected to wartime drafts. So although many of these men volunteered willingly, many of them were drafted. When
we see footage of the documentary, and we will shortly, why does this have impact today when we hear about the story from the past? In fact, we proudly say this documentary will now be seen across international waters to our servicemen and women. Why does it have impact today?
Well, minorities as a whole tend to be, their contributions tend to be ignored or overlooked, or our youth do not have heroes to look up to. These are the ultimate heroes. The soldier who risks his life in wartime is the ultimate hero. And we're in wartime now. I mean, traditionally Puerto Ricans and Latinos in general have served in the military in tremendous numbers, and they still continue to do so.
And as we see the history of it, it goes way back, before 1900, but also it really came to a high point in Korea.
Absolutely.
And when you mention ultimate, well, the ultimate sacrifice was made in large numbers, wasn't it?
It was. When I say the toughest fight was not on the battlefield, I mean that as soldiers they had to confront many obstacles. Not only segregation, which existed back then, they were a segregated unit, discrimination, they were fighting more than one enemy. They encountered some very, very difficult battles at Kelly Hill and Jackson Heights where their very existence was threatened. They went through a very difficult time, and they had to prove their mettle in combat. And
seeing the history of it, and then of course it ongoing, especially in Korea, the reality is here we are in a melting pot that is America. We all have this wonderful diversity that we are wrong if we do not celebrate, because it's part of the mosaic that we are. But we're also wrong if we forget the fact that we paid that red part of the flag with our blood.
Absolutely.
And that is a big message of this, isn't it?
Absolutely. Particularly in the Korean War, it was the bloodiest war in Puerto Rican military history in terms of casualties and in terms of how many men served. It was disproportionate to its numbers as compared to the rest of the U.S. It's a small island, with only 2.5 million residents at the time.
This was a lot of work for you. Oh. And here you are, you had to dig. You had to get in there.
Yes.
You must be enormously proud, but how was it a challenge at times?
Tears, I wanted to quit. I mean, you have to remember that the making of this film took longer than the Korean War. The Korean War lasted 3 years.
Final moments here. It's funny how time goes by so quickly. How can people learn more about this if they do not see it on public broadcasting?
Well, it is being aired on PBS nationally. It is going to be aired on the Armed Forces Network overseas to 850,000 troops. It's going to be aired in Puerto Rico. But people can get a lot of information by visiting our website at www.borinqueneers.com. There's historical information, there's a gallery of photos, and they can obtain products, including the DVD.
And of course, a quick reminder, if we forget where we've come from and the price that the men and women before us have paid, we miss it. Thank you for making us not forget.
Thank you.
She is Noemi Figueroa Soulet. She's the filmmaker of Borinqueneers documentary that's out there. This is Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Joe Basikia, and of course Comcast Newsmakers is seen exclusively right here on Comcast Cable.